I love doing these old interviews because, believe it or not, I don't know everything, and it allows me to discover some parts of things I didn't know. Mark Lineburg, he's the head coach of Brookville High School. You may have heard of his dad, Norm Lineburg, the legendary coach at Radford who recently passed away. Coach Lineburg talks about playing for his dad. He talks about the connection with the Poindexters. He talks about that a lot more. It's Mark Lineburg, one of the encyclopedias of high school football, on the Sports Buffet podcast. Talking to Mark Lineburg about the good old days. Let's start talking about being Norm's son. How was that?
He was a great father and a great football coach. He was he's a fierce competitor, and that's probably the thing that I remember about him as much as anything is he had just this tremendous will to win, and being his son, all things revolved around high school football and track, but football more than anything. He loved high school football. I mean, absolutely loved it. It was who he was, and I hope when he passed away back in July that when he in heaven that he is able to keep coaching, because he loved it that much. That was his thing.
I take it if we use the word legend for Norm, that's not a word that's underscored.
Well, I mean, he was a humble guy, and from humble beginnings, and wasn't pretentious at all. I mean, he was a very giving person, very tough guy. But certainly he did like, he enjoyed praise. I mean, there was no doubt about all that kind of stuff. And if you called him a legend, he'd probably blow it off. But he probably would have liked that. And I mean, truth be told on it. But he was legendary in my mind because there were standards that he had when he coached, and his standards were very, very simple. He didn't really care who or what you were, or who you were, or anything else, as long as you hustled and you played hard for the Bobcats. I mean, if you didn't play hard, then you didn't. Then he didn't. Then he wasn't going to be with you. If you played hard, he was thick and thin, all the way to the end with you. I mean, forever. He was a forever, friend and coach and all that kind of stuff for those who played hard for him.
Who was Radford's biggest rival?
Radford went through a lot of rivals. I mean, and that's not just an easy question, because Radford started off in the 70s as a bigger school with a pipe shop, which is the same Lynchburg foundry that was here in Lynchburg that was down there. The Lynchburg foundry in Radford, the pipe shop was the same thing, pumping jobs in with the Radford Arsenal. In the 70s it was big, and it started probably in the 70s with Dublin and then Pulaski County, and then fed into Giles, and there was there for a period of time. But then Blacksburg certainly was a rival, and then circling back as Radford constricted in size in the 90s to Giles. Giles was a big one.
Everybody talks about Giles. Is Radford kind of the Marcia Brady, to where they don't get, or maybe Jan Brady, I guess would be where they don't get enough love as much as Giles got all the love?
I think all due respect to Giles. I mean, I think if you look at the whole history of Radford High School compared to Giles, I mean, Giles's history is pretty much Steve Ragsdale, and that's it. I mean, Radford was good before my dad got there. John Dobbins played at Virginia Tech. He's the first black player to ever play at Virginia Tech. First person to score a touchdown in Lane Stadium. And Giles's history doesn't quite live up to Radford Bobcat history. And if you look at probably the record between Radford and Giles lifetime, Radford would be ahead. Now, Ragsdale versus my dad, it was probably relatively close. Ragsdale would certainly have the edge, I think, as time wore on. But there were some stretches when Radford got after those guys. So I think Jeremy Haymore's book has put a lot of spin on Giles, and certainly Steve Ragsdale. I mean, he was a great football coach, and the single wing offense was just absolutely phenomenally well run. Marty Smith too. I think that put Giles into a certain context, but and then I also say this about Radford. Giles may have had that single wing run, but there's hardly any school in the state of Virginia, especially in the Western state, that's been as consequential as Radford High School on the state level, and even broader than that from the direct ties from Cleve Adams, the athletic director at Ferrum, to his sister Sonia, who's the mother of Steph Curry, to Mike Young at head basketball coach for Frank Beamer. Goes on and on. There's just the ties are immense for Radford. From Radford High School has been great players that have played and great coaches that have come through that school, and I think very few places can compare to.
Was it tough for Dad to prepare against a single wing?
I think he prepared for it as well as any of them. I every now and then I see highlights on Facebook of games Radford played versus them, and Radford defended it well. And in the 90s, I think there was a stretch from 82 to maybe 82 to 89, 90, 91, 90, maybe 82 to 91. That Radford won nine straight years over Giles, and I'm certain that's fairly accurate. Then Giles kind of came back with it, but I thought Radford defended Giles as well as anybody because they were familiar, and it was something that Radford typically started with for years at the beginning. Showing the team what the single wing looked like at the beginning of practice, which was a tip of the hat to Steve Ragsdale. It's kind of how you started practice at Radford a lot of years. Okay, this is what the single wing looks like, just so you begin to get familiar with it from the very very beginning of the season.
And there is no spread back then, so people are not really running the spread offense.
Yeah, no one running the spread, but I think the one thing people miss on with Ragsdale's, they threw the ball really well out of the single wing. They had the sweep out of it with the tailback, and he also had the buck lateral pass out of it too. And he did good things. He had a good passing game out of it. I mean, it was solid. It was a solid passing game. You had to defend the pass versus Giles. I mean, it wasn't just as easy as that. And he had guys that could throw the football. I mean, even in the 90s, I remember Cooney Rattleford coaching an All-Star game. He was a great passer, and prior to that, it was prior to that, and Leon King and those guys, they certainly passed ball. But Giles has been a good team. Yep.
I think Haymore has probably told me about the buck lateral 155 million times, and I still don't know if I could define it. So
yeah, I mean, I could define the buck lateral. I mean, it's the single wing. Giles, the single wing was always unbalanced right, with the wing to the right, in the blocking back in there between the two tackles on the right side. And it was a direct snap to the fullback who went directly into it, and he handed the ball to the blocking back who pitched. The beauty of the play was that the fullback was running through there. It could be a trap, and it could be the buck sweep. And then they ran a spinner series off of that was beautiful too. But the buck lateral, he always had two guards pulling off of it, and it was a wide sweeping play. I think of all the plays I've seen in high school football, that is the most beautiful and best play I've ever seen run. And I know Jeremy Haymore would say the same thing. Was the Giles buck lateral? I mean, that is a key play. I mean, they executed it to perfection. I mean, it was Bob Christmas's inside trap, Paul Wheeler's buck sweep, all those great plays and all that kind of stuff that I can think of over the years. And and even the passing game that you see the modern era football that Jeff Woody did at here at Brookville and at Glass. I mean, the like singular play, the buck lateral was unbelievable, unbelievably effective. It was like choreographed, almost like a dance. I don't know what to say. I mean, it was choreographed to perfection. It was choreography. It was beautiful.
Did Radford play Floyd County a lot?
He'll play Floyd County almost every year. There were some lulls in there when Floyd County dropped back to single A, maybe in the mid 70s and dropped back to single A. Floyd didn't start football until later, though. Floyd didn't play. I don't think Floyd started playing football until 1969 or 1970. They were relatively new to football. Their first football coach was their first second football coach was Buddy Scholl, who ended up being my dad's assistant for a long time, and then Jeff Highfield came in, and after Jeff Highfield, it was Winford Beal for a long time. So anyway, Floyd hasn't has a real interesting lineage too, and Winford Bill's done a great job there. Did a great job there.
Yeah, people say Winford's the salt of the earth.
Salt of the earth. He's one of my favorite people. One of my dad's very best friends, and Winford came over to our house some years during that time. I remember one year he came over to the house for Thanksgiving dinner and ate Thanksgiving dinner with us. He was a really great guy. So, Winford Bill was extremely smart. He taught physics at Floyd. Went to American University. Was the only black guy in the entire county, and he led mostly an all-white football team. But yet it was never anything other than just, it was who Winford was. I mean, and everybody there loved him, and it's amazing what he did there and all that kind of stuff. Went back home. His mother had cancer, and Winford has a story, and Winford is one of the smartest people I've ever been around. I mean, the guy was really, really smart, and I student taught there at Floyd County High School and had the pleasure of coaching with Winford, and he was a great guy.
Every Lineburg play football for Dad? Absolutely.
All four of us did. Yep. I think all four of us played, and I bet in the years we played, we may have lost one regular season football game.
And there's Mark, Wayne, Robert, and Paul.
Yes.
Okay. Who had the best time playing for Dad, do you think?
My dad, I mean, it certainly wasn't my brother and I, my older brother and I. My older brother and I played for him, and it was tough. It was tougher on us. I mean, it was a time when he was, he was just as hard nosed as he could be with it. It was. I would never trade it for anything in the world, but it was not always fun. I mean, as football coaches can be, he was really, really tough in that mid '80s stretch. I mean, it was, and he was hard. He was really, really hard on us. Really, 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 really hard on my brother, who was a quarterback and was a great player. I mean, it was not easy. I mean, it was not easy. It was harder. He was, and a lot of times he was proving a point to everybody that he was going to be hardest out there on us. By the time he got to my two younger brothers.
Now the older brother's Paul, right?
No, Paul's below me.
Okay.
The oldest brother is Robert, and
okay.
I'm next. And then the two youngest, and I think their experiences. My brother and I played in playoff games, regional championship games, had great teams and magical games. Paul and Wayne's experiences were much more. I mean, he was a little bit softer by then. He'd aged a little bit and kind of had maybe gained more confidence in coaching his sons and all that kind of stuff. But he was I don't know, it was just different. It was just a different. He just changed it just slightly.
And Robert's the AD at Radford.
Yes.
Wayne is the assistant football coach
at Rice.
Paul is the smartest one of the group.
No, Wayne's the smart.
Okay.
Paul's kind. Paul's real kind. Paul's the principal at just retired from Northside Middle School.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to give Paul a little bit of love here.
Yeah. Paul's the best. Paul's the best one of the bunch. He's all four of us. He is the best one. Yeah.
And Wayne is how the connection to the Poindexters got started.
Right. That's right.
Okay.
Wayne, and then at the same time, John came over here. Wayne and played against Anthony and John in the famous 1991 game. Wayne went to UVA and played with Anthony. John came over here and coached with me, and that's how. And then at the same time, my mom and dad were going to UVA football games, and they would sit with. Wayne was on the team. Anthony was a star player, and they all became friends, real good friends, really, really good friends.
I know it's not a great memory, but let's talk a little bit about Radford and JF that time. Touchdown Tommy, what I remember.
Yeah. I mean, that was if you haven't looked at it, you ought to go back and look at the 1991 highlight video of Radford High School football and watch the highlights of that game from Radford's perspective of it. And
I've got the other highlight video, by the way.
Yeah, it was one of the best games I ever played at Radford's at Bobcat Stadium, and the game came down to Tommy Edwards was great. Of course, Anthony and Brian Jennings, Keith Inslow, and all those guys for just John. John was great, and it came down to the end of the game. Radford stops JF down deep with about 4 or 5 minutes to go in the game on 1 or 2 yard line, and then gets the ball back, drives the ball all the way down the field, scores a touchdown as time winds down, and should have gone for 2. I think that's my dad's regretting this. I mean, it's probably the regret of his whole life is that he didn't go for 2 on that play. I hope to God he got to go hope he got that chance to call that one again. And but anyway, goes for the one, goes for the tie, and then overtime gives it to Tommy Edwards, who was one of the best players in the country that year. He's Gatorade Player of the Year. Goes to Virginia Tech and leads the nation in scoring as a freshman. And anyway, like Jefferson Ford stops the Bobcats on 4 plays and scores first play they touch the ball, and they go on and to the state championship game when Radford gets beaten, and that was the last of the Lineburg boys playing for my dad. That was it.
Did y'all coach with Pops?
I did a little bit. Yeah.
What'd you learn coaching versus playing?
Yeah, my dad had this thing. It was really. I remember him like going to a coach's meeting, and he had to whistle around his neck. And he's like, he said, Bobcat coaches only wear black and gold, and this is how we blow the whistle. And he went tweet. He blew the whistle so daggone hard. He blew it like, he said, we don't drag it out like this. And then he kind of twirled it. And he said, we're not going to a swimming pool. We don't twirl a whistle. He said, whistles around our neck, and we have black and gold on. We have the practice schedule, and we're going to come out here with some enthusiasm. Anyway, and that's just kind of the way it was. So anyway, I've always remembered that. This is how you blow a whistle. You tweet, and that was it. Yeah.
Dave Mabry, mutual friend of ours.
Yeah.
I heard a story from him where he's just sitting enjoying life in Narrows, and he gets a call from a guy named Robert Lineburg.
Yeah.
Hey, come on up here. I got something I want you to see. And I guess gives Dave a lot of the old films to where Dave's put him on 3 Rings football. Talk a little bit about Robert, and nobody has to do that, even to get it digitized, but somebody wants to further Mabry's passion of, putting the old stuff, the good stuff out there.
We had, so my mom and dad were both almost hoarders. I mean, they kept everything. My mom was real organized. My dad wasn't. She had everything organized. Everything's organized. And so they had tons of videos. And so we thought Dave would be great for the video footage and all that kind of stuff.
Because Friday Football Extra doesn't really start till like the late 70s.
Yeah.
80s.
This was a 16.
Yeah.
There were some, I'm sure, that were 16 millimeter, some VHS, some CDs, and all that kind of stuff. But the very early ones were the 16 millimeters.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dave got some of that from Radford High School too. But all those kind of came in together. But my brother Robert, he did a great job with all that stuff at my mom and dad's house. My mom and dad's house was not a big house, but they had a lot of stuff in it, and there's a lot of Bobcat stuff in there. And we gave it all away to people. I mean, besides what the very very possessions that we wanted and all that kind of stuff, pictures, plaques, game plans, all scrapbooks, whatever. We didn't know what to do with all of them. So as people came in and out. We just, and we boxed a ton of it up and thought Dave would like that. But anyway, we appreciate what he's done and shows those videos on there where everybody can see them. It's really neat.